I guess we're going to talk about Walleyes for Tomorrow tonight. We're doing well. As an organization, we're very well supported. This coming year, we will be having a hatchery reincarnation on Lake Geneva. We haven't had one there since 2016, and we have a crew down there now that are interested in running a hatchery there. Pewaukee Lake will be having a hatchery there. We didn't have one last year. We've been quite successful on Pewaukee over the last 11 years. And it's kind of thought that we need periodically to give the forage base a break. So we didn't run it there. And it also gives the guys a break. You know, they don't want to get burned out from running the hatchery every year. So, but this year I'm fairly certain we'll have one on Pewaukee. We'll have one again on Big Cedar this year. We had a hiatus for a number of years, and last year we had a very good crowd of guys, a good core group as well, that were very interested in running a hatchery, and we did well. Again, we'll be having another one on Little Cedar. We've run one there now, I think, for 3 or 4 years. Haven't seen any good heavy results from that hatchery. We have trouble catching enough fish to get enough eggs to have a robust number of fry go back in the lake. Shawano Lake, Ken Vandepas was at our meeting tonight. He's been given permission to increase from 6 million fry to 7 to 7.5 million fry, based upon a study that Walleyes For Tomorrow and DNR co-opted with to study or track the walleye movement in the system. Most people don't know about Shawano Lake being a system, but you leave Shawano Lake going upstream and you run into Wilson Lake, and then they leave Wilson Lake and go into another small lake, and then they leave that lake and go into another even smaller lake. So, and they go back and forth. They've had multiple passes over the listening units. So they're finding out that system is a much more diverse system than anybody had ever known. But we will be running a hatchery there again. We'll be running a hatchery on Solberg Lake again up in Price County. Last year we fin clipped every male and female that we caught, and it was several hundred fish. And then in the fall, the DNR did a fall fingerling survey or scan. They did electrofishing on the entire shoreline, I believe, and caught 20 young of the year fish, which they took a fin clip out of. And when I talk fin clip, we just take a small piece of tissue off the fins of both the males and the females that we use for egg and sperm, and then they do the same thing with the fish that they catch in the fall. And these samples are sent to UW-Stevens Point, where the genetics lab does a genetic assay of the samples. But what it results in, we can when we catch the fall fingerlings on whatever lake it is, we can pair it back hypothetically to the fish that we used. Obviously, if we can't get a match, they were naturally reproduced. But we hope to see some results on Green Lake. We had a very good result on that lake. We had 74% of the fish that were caught in the fall were documented genetically to have come out of our hatchery. So we'll be running a hatchery there again. We've run a hatchery there now for over 20 years, and it's been quite successful. Aaron Anderson and his crew there are just phenomenal guys. And then I guess based upon the results from Solberg Lake, there's a good possibility that we will be able to run a hatchery on Connors Lake. Jeff Shire, who's the biologist up there, seems to now agree that if we can show positive results on Solberg, that there's a good chance that Connors Lake, which is actually over in Sawyer County, not in Price County, might be a good option for running a hatchery there. I don't think we've got any hatcheries any other place this year. But the ones we have done well, and we will keep doing it. We're co-oping with DNR as much as possible, still on Green Lake, or Green Bay, doing tagging of fish. And these are radio tags and Floyd tags on the bay. And we're not getting a lot of returns for our tagging effort, which is an indication that there's a very large population. When you get a lot of returns back, it's an indication of a very or a smaller population base, and we're not getting very many back from Green Bay, which is based upon discussions with some biologists to be expected, because they're quite happy with the number of fish that are up there. So these are some of the things that we're up to. We received a grant from the Central Wisconsin Walleye Club out of Wisconsin Rapids. Their club folded, and they chose Walleyes For Tomorrow to receive their funds. And we told them that we would try to come up with a project on the Wisconsin River, which just so happens we were able to do. Al Niebuhr is the fishery supervisor out of Wausau, and those guys are looking at the Big Opleen Reservoir. The Big Opleen is a water retention reservoir for the Wisconsin River Valley Association. They use it to maintain water levels so that there's adequate water coming downriver to keep the hydros in operation. But the lake has been subject to winter kills in the past. I was there many years ago, and it's pretty sad when they have a winter kill. So there's an aerator now. There has been for many years, in fact, in the Big Opleen, and they're going to tag some walleyes and put some receivers in the Big Opleen Reservoir to see if these aerators work and if the fish actually relate to them in the wintertime, so that these aerators are fairly expensive to operate. So it will be a good effort to see if there's a justification for keeping the aerator going, and we'll see. I mean, I'm not sure how many years they're going to run this operation. Generally speaking, surgically implanted radio tags are good for 3 years. So more to come on that. We'll see how that operates. But otherwise, our banquets are doing well. Washington County just, excuse me, just had their banquet last month. 150 some odd people attended. Was well received, I think, by most people. Our next banquet coming up will be in Appleton in February. I think it's February 13th. So we have a fundraising event coming up there, and then I think the one in Fond du Lac is in March, like March 8th or 9th. And then after that, we'll have one in Berlin. And so we're still active, and we're still trying to have enough funds so we can fund all of our projects. So hope to see you there. Thank you.